Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of Recovery is Effing Awesome. I am so glad you guys are here with me today. My name is Robo, and I appreciate your guys' support and hope your day is going swimmingly. Hope everyone is woke up this morning and remain sober throughout the day. I don't drink alcohol, but I am addicted to Topo Chico. So thanks, Nate, for getting me involved in that. The grapefruit, you are correct, sir, is the best flavor out there. The lime is okay. The regular is the regular, but this grapefruit is that's where it's at, baby. All right, so I got my technical issues hopefully squared away. So what I would like to do is run a series. So today I'd like to start with step 1, and then the next episode would be step 2 on through step 12, and then we talk about the traditions. Use obviously the big book, the 12 and 12, and then my personal opinions on how it works in my life with my experience, strength, and hope. So looking at the book, step 1 is pretty much all up through chapters 1 through 5. It's not until you get to roughly about step 4 that it starts talking about or chapter 4, excuse me, till it gets to talking about step 2. So today we're going to talk about step 1. Right? Step 1 is what? We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. I hear a lot of people read that and they put the "and," right? We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives have become unmanageable, and our lives have become unmanageable. That's not how it's read, and I'm kind of a word nerd. So we admitted we were powerless over alcohol. That's part 1. That our lives have become unmanageable. That's part 2. So for me, the biggest thing is the first word of the first step is we. When I was out there doing the deal, I could be in a room full of people, and it was just, and I felt alone. That deep-seated loneliness. I never felt like I fit in anywhere. But then when I walked in the doors, and I found people who thought like me, who had similar experiences, and who overcame them, and could actually help me and teach me how to overcome everything that I have gone through, and things that I will have issues come up in my life. How do we attack those? How do we deal with those and live a comfortably sober life? And it's awesome, and so that was that word is huge, right? So when I came in the program, immediately I realized I was not alone. There's a room full of people who are just like me. And to tell you how comforting that was, I don't think I could actually put that in words. And it's, there's chapters on, how it works. There is a solution, and it goes through the we agnostics, right? So going to the 12 and 12, and I'm going to kind of flip back and forth. Who cares to admit complete defeat? Practically no one. I still haven't met anyone. I don't know the practically no one. I still have not met anyone who really wants to admit complete defeat, especially when they first come in the program. Right? Every natural instinct cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. We're all human beings, and at the core, A, we're selfish, and B, especially men, of my generation, I don't know about this generation, but it's like we can handle this stuff all by ourselves. We were taught not to show emotion. We were taught that, real men, just knuckle down and, rub some dirt on it and you keep going. And to an extent that's true, but sometimes we need other people in our lives to help us rub the dirt on it and kind of point us in the right direction, right? Then it talks about bankruptcy, right? It's truly awful to admit that, glass in hand, we have warped our minds into such an obsession for destructive drinking that only an act of providence can remove it from us. No other kind of bankruptcy is like this one. Alcohol now became the rapturous creditor, bleeds us of all self-sufficiency, and all will to resist its demands. Once this stark fact is accepted, our bankruptcy as going human concerns is complete. But upon entering the program, we soon take quite another view of this absolute humiliation. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take the first steps toward liberation and strength. Think about that. We perceive, we get, right? We see, we understand that only through utter defeat, till alcohol has whipped my ass so bad that there was no way out of this thing, were we able to take the first steps toward liberation and strength. Strength to live comfortably. Strength to make that choice to stay sober rather than to, put some mind-altering chemicals in our body. Liberation, right? Today, in my day of grace is May 7th, 2010. Today I have the freedom to do whatever in the fuck I want to do. As long as I stay sober and I'm not intentionally hurting anybody, right? And of course it's legal. But they when they wrote these books, they knew what they were doing by using these strong words. Only an act of providence, right? Providence, our higher power, can remove it from us, right? And we'll get more into that in step 2. Our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turned out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. Our personal powerlessness, when I finally just gave up and realized that alcohol had whipped me so bad that the program, why the hell not, right? Because what I'm doing ain't working. So, and I see these other people who have, managed to stay sober, and at least that day, right? And they were, seemingly happy. They had jobs. Their kids liked them. The kids respected them. Their spouses loved them. The spouses were still there. Why not? Because that's what I wanted. Actually, if I'm being completely honest, I wanted anything that other than what was going on in my brain. I had the good kids. I had the beautiful wife who loved me. She loved me so much she married me twice, and we're actually still married. But I couldn't see that, right? Because there was this self-absorption and self-delusion, this fantasy world that I was living in, that I couldn't see all the other people in my life who actually cared, and because, they say you can't see the forest through the trees, and that's kind of where I was at, right? We know little good can come to any alcoholic who joins AA unless he has first accepted his devastating weakness and all its consequences. Until he so humbles himself, his sobriety, if any, will be precarious. Of any real happiness, he will find none at all. When I first started drinking, obviously, we had some good times. I mean, there were some good times scattered, here and yon, but, towards the end, it wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. It was something that I had to do just to, somewhat manage, to get out of bed and just, I guess, sleepwalk through life like a friggin' zombie. So glad I don't live that way anymore. Of real happiness, he will have none at all. And today I may have resting bitch face, but man, I am happy. I am happy to my core. Provided beyond doubt by an immense experience, this is one of the facts of the program's life. And you know why I can't say the other word. Principle we shall find no enduring strength until we first admit complete defeat is the main taproot from which our whole society has sprung and flowered. When we first challenged to admit defeat, most of us revolted. I certainly did. We had approached the program expecting to be taught self-confidence. Then we had been told, so far as alcohol is concerned, self-confidence was no good whatever. In fact, it was a liability. A total liability. Sponsors declare that we are victims of a mental obsession so subtly powerful that no amount of human willpower could break it. Ain't that the truth? How many times did I wake up? Oh man, I'm not going to do this again. Oh my God, I feel like shit. There's no way. I really need to stop. I'm not drinking today. By 10 o'clock, get a little food in you. By noon, start feeling, hey, it's okay. Shit, by 3 o'clock, man, I was ready to go again. And that's exactly what I did. There was, they said, no such thing as personal conquest of the compulsion by the unaided will. Relentlessly deepening our dilemma, our sponsors pointed out that our increasing sensitivity to alcohol, an allergy as they called it, the tyrant alcohol wielded a double-edged sword over us. First, we were smitten by an insane urge that condemned us to go on drinking, and then by an allergy of the body that ensured that we would ultimately destroy ourselves in the process. Few indeed were those who, so assailed, had ever won through in single-handed combat. It was a statistical fact that alcoholics almost never recovered on their own resources. And this had been true apparently ever since man had first crushed grapes. It's kind of funny, and I joke about it, and I was a big beer drinker. 12 ounces of alcohol kicked my ass, and it was the 12 steps that saved my life. And how true is that? But it all starts with step one, right? I can't do the rest of the steps unless I do step one, and it says in here, step one is the only step we have to do 100%. And I do that every day. Yes, I am powerless over alcohol. It's like drinking poison. And it's not the last drink that got me drunk, it's the first one. Because as the book talks about, once I put alcohol in my body, I have an allergy. I am allergic to it. And it was explained to me by a medical professional that the part of my brain that makes good and logical decisions, when I put alcohol in there, it basically shuts off. And that when I put alcohol in my body, once that first sip goes in my mouth, my brain tells my body that unless I have more, I'm going to die. And that kind of goes into the unmanageability of this disease. Yes, it's an allergy. Yes, it's a disease. That's my opinion. It's because when I take that first drink, it's like I physically, mentally, I just can't stop. Right? I got to have more and more until I'm completely obliterated, completely numb, or until I run out of money or I pass out. I'm still drinking. And even if I pass out, I'll wake up and I'll drink some more. Or I'll drink so much that I'll physically get sick and I vomit all over the place. And well, now there's nothing in my belly. Oh man, I feel great. That was awesome. And I go drink more. That's how I drink. And when I do that, I destroy everything around me. Everything. Maybe not right then, but eventually I will take everything around me and I will completely shun it or drive it away or burn that son of a bitch to the ground, because that's what I do. When I'm drinking, I am selfish. It's all about me. I don't give two shits about anybody else. I love my wife and I love my kids, but as my wife once told me, I chose alcohol over my family. And today I choose my sobriety over everything, because if I'm not sober, then I got nothing, and that's about as honest as I can be. Now let's talk about the unmanageability of this, right? We were powerless over alcohol. Okay. Obviously, I'm an alcoholic. When I put alcohol in my body, I can't control it. I have no willpower. I have an allergy. I have a disease that tells me, my brain will tell my body that unless I have more of it, then I'm going to die. And so I just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, which is kind of ironic, right? Because, if I keep drinking and drinking and drinking the way I was going, I would eventually, die. Cirrhosis of the liver, liver disease, jaundice, drive drunk, maybe kill somebody, maybe kill myself. Or in my case, when you lose all options, you lose all hope, and you're sitting in the garage with a shotgun in your mouth. Hey, there we go. That's a great fucking idea, yeah? So let's talk about the unmanageability of it. Right, so the first part, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol. Got that covered. that our lives have become unmanageable. To me, I didn't really see the unmanageability of my life. I had a job. I got up every day and I went to work. I didn't call in sick because I was hungover or still drunk. I would actually go into work. And yes, I hate to admit it, for any of my former employers who are listening, some days I'd show up drunk, still drunk from the night before. Some days I was hungover. I was probably not as of a model employee that I could be, right? But, I still made the effort to go. And I did the best I could under the, circumstances. I had a house, I had a car, I had a wife, I had kids. And that's all true, but I wasn't present, right? I if I'm going to be honest, I still don't like going places. But, I didn't go with my wife out to dinner. Or if we go hang out with some friends, my whole goal was just get, drink as much as I can so I wouldn't have to, listen to them. And I didn't really want to be there. And, today if I choose not to go somewhere and I really don't want to go, then I just don't go. And I guess I felt like it was an obligation. It was something that as a husband I was supposed to do, as a father I was supposed to do. I never want to take my kids anywhere. I didn't really want to go, watch them play sports. I didn't want to take them to their friend's house. I didn't want to take them to a birthday party, right? I just didn't, because it interfered with my drinking. Again, I thought I was managing. Turns out I was not. I barely was living. I was just existing. And that's one of the reasons why we got divorced in the first place, right? It's because of my drinking, and I own that. I 100% own that. And I'm very grateful and thankful that she decided to take me back. Now we've been married this time for, I think, 16 years, going on 17, right? And I've been sober for almost 13. So, and our relationship with my wife is stronger than it's ever been. My relationship with my kids is stronger than it's ever been. I don't know if I shared this before, but there was one time when I was drinking, and I asked my daughters, if, why they stopped bringing friends over to the house to spend the night or hang out or whatever. And, finally they looked at me and said, "Dad, you're an embarrassment. We don't know what you're going to say or what you're going to do when our friends are over here. When your kids tell you you're an embarrassment, you would think that would click in your brains, like, hey, maybe you need to stop doing what you're doing. But obviously it didn't. And today, hopefully, I don't believe that my kids think I'm an embarrassment anymore. And if that's the only thing I get out of this sobriety thing, that's enough. But it's not, man. I get so much more. It's because I take step one honestly every day. Yes, I am an alcoholic. Yes, I am powerless over alcohol. And yes, my life is still unmanageable. I still have the same house, still got the same wife, still got the same kids, got different dogs, but, I still have a job, not the same job. But, I enjoy what I'm doing now for work. I enjoy being sober. I enjoy waking up and kind of looking up, just kind of winking and giving a nod and saying thank you and being grateful that I got another shot at this thing. I'm grateful to have some friends who are honest to God friends. I'm grateful that I get to go hang out with people who are just like me. And they seem to like me too. And I don't have to put on a show. I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm just me. And it kind of goes back to the whole belonging thing. First word of the first step. I feel like I belong with these people because we are the same. We come from different places. We've taken different roads. And we may still be on different paths. But the end result of all of our different paths is the same. To not drink for one day. Because that's all I got. A friend of mine, Joe, says we have an infinite number of days. Let's try not to fuck this one up. And that's so true. We don't like to think about it, and I really don't like to think about it, but it's true. I don't know when my time is. I don't know when my time's going to be up. So let's do the best I can with what I got today. Try to be helpful to somebody. Try to give a kind word. My best friend Jake, I texted him this morning. I haven't texted him in a couple of days. I'm really not sure why. But I love texting that dude, right? And just go kick some ass and piss some gratitude and have a good day and I love you, Jake. And he always texts me back with some like, hey, you cool motherfucker. Have a great day and I love you too. And it's little things like that I used to take for granted. I don't take for granted anymore. I love that dude. He's awesome. If you looked up the word gratitude and happiness and joy in the dictionary, you would have a picture of Jake, right? He is what I aspire to be. He's a great father. He's a great husband. He's just a great dude. And he's so full of positivity, right? And me doing step one on a daily basis gets me a little closer to where I want to be. Gets me a little closer to that joy and that sereneness and that peace that I search for all of my life, and by no means am I one of these, like a Buddhist in Tibet sitting on a mountaintop with 100% all the time inner peace, because I'm not. I'm human. Little things still get to me every once in a while, but not as much as they did. Do I still get angry? Yeah, I of course I do. But it doesn't last as long, and I do my best not to lash out and react so much as I used to. The old me is dead. Actually, he's not dead. He's sleeping. And he will pop his ugly ass head up every once in a while, and I quash him back down. It's just, I'm a human being living a spiritual experience. But as long as I do step one every day, admit to my innermost self that I am an alcoholic, I am powerless over alcohol, and my life is still unmanageable, and I stay humble enough to understand that I'm not running the show, I'm just a little cog in the wheel. And if I can help somebody else, man, what a great life. And again, I appreciate you guys downloading this and listening to this and supporting me. It means a lot. And I don't know if I'm helping anybody. I really don't. But I know this, that I'm helping myself. And if that's all I get out of this, then, it goes step 12, right? And helping other people, helping the other alcoholic who still suffers. And that, I've met a lot of alcoholics who are suffering, who are still drinking. And there's also alcoholics who are still suffering that aren't drinking, and we live in this crazy ass world, and the least we can do at the very basic level of all being human beings is out of respect, try to, if somebody needs some help, man, let's do what we can. Some of us can do more than others, but some of us, can help in different ways, and that's a cool thing. I volunteered for this. There's a Soldiers Against Suicide. They're doing this thing, Veterans Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, a lot of people sign up, and to raise funds by running 20 miles. And I signed up for that. So in 3 days, I will do my best to run 20 miles. And, I'm a veteran of the United States Navy, and my daughter is currently serving the United States Navy. And when I was reading about this, that, what is it, every 20 minutes, every 22 minutes, a veteran commits suicide, right? And that's horrible. So, if I can do just a small part to raise awareness for this, then that's the least I can do for people who have given so much more. That a lot of people don't understand. You vets out there, you understand what I'm talking about, and you family members of veterans, you understand what I'm talking about too. And those people who are currently serving and the families of those currently serving, y'all get it. So I'm going to do my small part, get my fat ass out there and make an effort. I'm glad I got 3 days. I'm glad I might do it in one day, because I don't know if I can run 20 miles in one day. But anyway, so that's my diatribe on step one. Next episode will be step 2. Again, I appreciate you guys listening. Stay sober. Have a lovely day. And remember, recovery is effing awesome.